Hello everybody, I'm Elwirfy and today we're back playing some more Stories from Seoul, the Gun Dog. We need to grab the captain and figure out why the heck she's running away from us so we can figure out what's going on and why have all the logs been deleted. This is ridiculous. Whatever is happening on board my ship has been going on long enough. I don't have time for these silly games anymore. We've already lost one member of the crew and that could be just the beginning. That bitch needs to know that she's putting us all in jeopardy. I agree. The captain turns to head away. You dart past her, blocking the way. Captain, wait, please. If you... Move, Lieutenant. Now. Despite her visible fury, you stand your ground, preventing her from moving past you on the narrow catwalk. If you go up there now, you know how she'll react. There's no way we can convince the rest of the crew to help us if we can't figure out what's going on. If you just leave now, this will all be for nothing. We don't have time for this, Lieutenant. Get out of my way. I can't let you go, ma'am. Move. With a sharp swing, the captain brings her palm towards your face as she yells, I am your captain, damn it. The slap catches you directly on the cheek, and your head snaps to the right. You're stunned for a second, but as the captain attempts to shove her way past, you remain firmly stood in place. Captain, stop it. You bark. Don't you think I feel the same way? I want to stop this too. But we're the only ones who know about this, and if we get bundled back into our quarters, or worse, that's it for the crew and this whole damn ship. So listen to me. We need to figure this out. Now. The captain's face is a grim picture of anger, and you can hear her teeth grinding, but following your outburst, she remains still, glowering at you? I don't think it's glowering. Never heard that word before. Breathing heavily with your cheek, flush, and hot as the stinging sensation subsides, you step towards her, saying nothing. And they both awkwardly stare at each other. Fine then, Lieutenant. Have it your way. If you think having all of the facts on our side will make a difference. Right. You close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale, doing your best to center yourself and focus. Everything you'd found out whirls around inside your head as if caught in a windstorm. With so much new knowledge, it was difficult to pin down any coherent ideas. But you knew that you'd need to figure out exactly what was going on, especially after what you'd just seen on the computer's records. Right, so first things first. Lords pinned the death of Dr. Rosarium on Cassie as part of this conspiracy she's accused the two of you of. I know there's no way she would have done that to him. As much as your good word stands for anything, Lieutenant. How do we know that for sure? Well, why couldn't Cassie have killed the doctor? Well, because of the condition she was in. All of those are kind of the same things. I think that's the best one. She'd have been completely knocked out when the murder happened. I think that's the most solid evidence. I arrived minutes after when his tablet shows us she was sedated. The dosage, the timing, it's all there. She couldn't possibly have killed him. She was unconscious at the time it happened. Good, Lieutenant, good. It will be hard for Lord to argue with records like that, even if she argues with the circumstances. As well as that, I had Chief Cathays and Ensign Rumney carry the commander up to her quarters afterwards. They were both well aware of how she was completely passed out. But then again, Captain? Knowing Lord, she'll probably wheedle her way around the point or pull loose threads to make others question it. We know the doctor had sedated the commander shortly before you arrived. But to play devil's advocate, how do we know she didn't kill him just before the sedatives took effect? I hadn't thought about that. Those drugs act quickly, though, so Cassie wouldn't have been awake for long. Long enough for Lord, I'm sure. We need to prove she didn't kill him before she fell unconscious. Why couldn't... He was shot, right? Because of the cause of death, maybe? There's no way she could have killed him. And why is that, Lieutenant? The cause of death, think about it. Whatever killed him also deactivated all his prosthetics and left signs of singeing along where the body met the metal. That could have only been done by a source of high-power electricity, something like an electroshock weapon. I didn't find one in there, not to mention no one mentioned finding one either. So unless she got sedated, drew a previously hidden electroshock weapon, and then managed to hide it again, it's a ridiculous scenario. Possibly. But what if an electroshock weapon were to be found? There's no way, ma'am. I searched that room from top to bottom. Are you sure? What if Lord were to investigate the room herself, and one were to conveniently appear? That's ridiculous. She'd be planting evidence. You think she wouldn't resort to that? That's a fair point. If we're going to pursue this logic, we need it to be airtight. How can we be sure Miss Quinn didn't hide the electroshock weapon? No, she has access to the army. That's bad. Would you have known? The doctor would have seen it first. Maybe this one? How could she have hidden a weapon when she'd have needed to get one into the sickbay first? She'd have needed to get one into the sickbay first, and I know for a fact that she didn't have one when I took her down. The doctor had her under constant supervision. She'd need to leave, get a weapon, and then somehow bring it back, all without him noticing. I know he could have trouble picking up on things sometimes, but there's no way he could miss that. Well, you'd certainly hope not. But can you be sure? I can be pretty confident that we need to be sure. We don't know what went on in that sickbay. It's Lord's interpretation against ours. And if we're going to be... Let's just kill Vanessa. Man, fuck this. Sorry. Are you guys not, like, in agreement? We have the machine guns. If she can't understand our logic, we need to just fucking kill her. I mean, what are we going to do? And if we're going to be going to present a version of events, it needs to be one that we can prove. One that doesn't rely on assumptions or likelihoods. I agree. Is there any other way we can be confident that she didn't hide an electroshock weapon? Maybe you'd have known? Well, did she have an electroshock weapon? Well, did she have an electroshock weapon? That's what I'm trying to decide, Lieutenant. No, ma'am. I mean, you'd have known because of all the alerts you receive, right? If any firearm is taken out of a locker, an alert is sent to the bridge. You'd have gotten one when I took my electroshock gun, and presumably the only reason we didn't know that Hansen and Harv were armed was because Lord was on the bridge when they took them. You're quite right. And that's something we can back up using the ship's own logs. There should only be one instance of an electroshock weapon being taken this mission. Yours. That's got to be enough to prove Cassie didn't do it, right, Captain? I can't see any holes in our narrative left for Lord to exploit. We can prove that Miss Quinn wasn't conscious at the time of the doctor's death. Even if she had been, it would have been impossible for her to ever procure the murder weapon. Hopefully that should allay any suspicions the crew have that she is the guilty party. Great. But what about my part in Lord's fabricated series of events? Where she accused you of being unavailable on purpose during the blackout? That's right. She accused the commander of being part of that as well. Even though we might be able to prove Miss Quinn had nothing to do with the murder, Lord will likely just accuse me of killing him and focus her argument against us on the sabotage. Yeah, you're right. It's not like she's let the truth get in her way so far. So then, Lieutenant, what can we tell everyone to convince them that neither Miss Quinn nor myself were responsible for the sabotage or shirking our duties? What proves that Cassie and the captain weren't responsible for the sabotage? I mean, I agree they have no motive. That's because they're both unwell. I think that they don't have a motive. There's the motive. What do you mean? Well, there isn't any, right? Vanessa's accusing you of doing something you'd had no reason to do, just because you weren't around to help out. Her whole argument is that because you were absent, you must have been absent on purpose. But that's pretty flimsy logic. It's just a presumption. I certainly appreciate your faith in our innocence, Lieutenant. But much like Lord's logic, that's a presumption too. Captain? You're presuming I can't have been part of any wrongdoing because I have no reason to do so. But you don't know that. I'd be quite the poor, treacherous saboteur if I aired out all my grievances ahead of time, wouldn't you say? It's the same for Commander Quinn, especially as someone that might accuse you of having personal bias with regards to her. As much as we might protest her innocence, I can see Lord making the point that actions speak louder than words. Yeah. So then, what can we tell everyone to convince them that neither Miss Quinn or I were responsible for the sabotage or shirking our duties? What proves? Well, you both weren't well. So Lord's argument is that you were both traitors through inactivity, right? That it was a choice, huh? But using the doctor's datapad, we can see that both of you were at the time of the blackout. I skipped a word. But using the doctor's datapad, we can see that both of you were ill at the time of the blackout. At the time the blackout happened, there was no choice about it. The doctor made note of what happened to you, as well as the scans and treatments he gave Cassie. He wouldn't have done that unless he found cause to. That proves you both had genuine medical need. The doctor may have had his quirks, but I don't think the crew will believe he was incompetent or a liar. Yes, that should work. That's it then. That's you and Cassie in the clear. Well, as long as we can trust the crew to listen to reason. But that still leaves us with who is actually responsible. Yeah. Even if we confront Vanessa and prove you're innocent, there will still be a murderer on board the ship. We won't be safe until we figure out who that is. That leaves us with a new question. Who exactly is responsible for all this? Who's the real culprit? Ah, damn, I gotta think of events. I really feel like it was Vanessa. It must have been. I feel like it's Vanessa. It's gotta be Vanessa. And what makes you think that? Well, the way she's taking advantage of what's going on. We know she's painting you and Cassie as the culprits in all this to get herself into your position. Maybe that's a distraction to cover up the fact that she's responsible for everything all along. Because Hansen was still in surgery, wasn't he? Right? Because he came in and he got us. Yeah, I think. Am I remembering the events wrong? But it couldn't have been Hansen. Maybe that's a distraction to cover up that she's been responsible for everything. There's certainly a chance that's true, but I don't believe it. From what I've read, you were instrumental in reactivating the ship during the blackout. Did Lord do anything to obstruct you at all? Well, no, not really. And did you notice her being armed at all on the bridge? No, and in her normal uniform, she wouldn't be able to hide an electroshock weapon. It'd be too obvious. If we consider those points, as well as the fact that she hasn't, to my knowledge, adjusted my plan of returning to Europa Colony, she might be commending us as part of her miserable scheme, but it seems like she has no interest in getting rid of the ship or the rest of the crew. I guess not. She doesn't seem to like the kind of person who'd give her life for the cause either. That's conjecture, Lieutenant. Albeit conjecture I'd be taken to believe. She certainly gives us a reason to be suspicious. I won't argue with that. But nothing we've seen seems to indicate that she's responsible. She was on the bridge with you when the power went off. There's nothing connecting her to Dr. Rosarium's death. There's no way she could have orchestrated getting that machine on board. No, I don't believe it was her. I see what you mean. Which leaves us with the same question. Who exactly is responsible for all this? I think it's someone else. I don't think it's Hansen. I don't think it was anyone from the crew. No? If you think about it, when the blackout happened, no one was in any position to take advantage of it. We were all totally taken by surprise. It didn't seem like something that happened from within the ship either. The chief would have figured out what caused it otherwise. Plus, the same thing happened to the O'Brien. It wasn't just the power going off that affected the O'Brien either. It was their doctor who was also killed. Did you mention that in your report? Then we know no one except myself had the means to kill the doctor in the way that he died. But even then, the entry logs for that sickbay show that the bioscanner didn't pick up anyone going in. Just this no information. And we know when it first showed up, so you think that the thing and its pilot are responsible for all this. It's the only way it all makes sense. Maybe they tried to take out both the O'Brien and us, but we were able to get the ship back online. Now they're trying a different approach. I had hoped that after Chief Cathays so thoroughly reassured me that no one was getting out of that mess, we wouldn't have any issues with their pilot. Dang, is their pilot the problem? But I agree, there doesn't seem to be anyone on board who could have been responsible for everything that's going on. There's no individual or even combination of crew that would have required skills, would have the required skills, agenda, and malice. But then, why? If this mysterious pilot is causing all this to happen, what's the benefit to them? Why would they do it? What's the pilot's motive? I don't think they're after Cassie, but let's say that. I think that's what my character would say. I know this is going to sound crazy, Captain, but hear me out. Whoever this is, I think they're after Cassie. That's quite a statement, Lieutenant. Explain. Well, there's a couple of things I might be wrong, but tell me why you think they're after Commander Quinn, Lieutenant. Part of me, here's the only thing I'm thinking of, is that the radios were transmitted back and forth, right? Cassie and Lieutenant Bashir were both communicating back and forth in space. So what if the alien picked up their frequencies and wanted to kill them specifically? That's my only thought. Alright, I think it's because she has a connection to them. Yeah. You take a deep breath. You still weren't totally sure with everything you'd noticed, but all the odds that happened that you picked up, it felt like it was the only explanation. You still couldn't quite form a full picture of what was going on in your head, but you knew they were close to figuring it out. You knew that what you'd seen was important. There have been things happening that haven't made sense on their own. They didn't seem like anything to worry about, but now that we're here, they do. When I reactivated the Gundog's computer, I could hear the same signal that came over the bridge's comms, just before the whole ship shut down, and Cassie collapsed. Yes, exactly, see? That's what I thought of too. I thought of that exactly. The whole time the thing went haywire, everyone's crew reports were flashing up on the screen, but the only one that stayed was hers. Then, the whole thing shut down. At the time, I thought the computer had been damaged by the sudden loss of power, but now I have to wonder if the signal was coming from that machine when it was on the O'Brien. Why would it focus on Cassie's file? She blacked out when she heard the signal too. She was the only crew member who seemed to be affected by it. It's her. Things keep happening to her. These are certainly some interesting observations, but what makes you think there's something so special about her that someone would go through all this effort? Well, what makes her special? She was left alive. Yeah. How they left her alive? Left her alive? That's right. In the sickbay, they didn't harm her. When I got there, the doctor was already dead. I didn't see anyone head down into the sickbay before I did, so they must have gone there at least a few minutes ahead of me. They would have had plenty of time to kill her as well. But they didn't. They left her alive. They left you alive as well, Lieutenant. But that's only because Hansen raised the alarm after he noticed them attack me. That's why I know it's not Hansen, by the way. I was lucky that that blow didn't kill me, and if Hansen hadn't pulled the alarm, they'd have been able to finish me off just like the doctor. So, they killed the doctor, they attacked me. Why was Cassie left unharmed? They wouldn't have left her alone unless they wanted her for something, right? I agree. The full force of the captain's steel sharp gaze feels like it could penetrate right through you at any moment if you say the wrong thing. Okay, you've always been ill at ease around the captain due to her judgmental aura and the constant sense of silent appraisal that comes with her stare. Sure. Right now you feel like your whole premise is resting on the knife edge of her acceptance. Okay. The captain takes a long, slow breath and holds it as she continues to appraise you. Eventually, she lets out a similarly drawn-out explanation. How did we know these just aren't coincidences, Lieutenant? There's still a lot we don't know about what's going on. Are you confident in all this? Yes. Yes, I am. What makes you so confident? With everything so uncertain, what makes you think this isn't just a big series of coincidences? I don't think so, ma'am. After all... They could have destroyed the gun dog. I mean, that's a fair point. They could have taken it out, and they chose not to. What about the fact that the gun dog is still in one piece? That craft, whatever it is, it ripped through the O'Brien like it was nothing, and then made it all the way to the gun dog. Why didn't it just destroy the ship and then and there? And that's a fair point. Hansen and I saw how powerful its beam weapon was. It sliced through the O'Brien's armor with ease. If we'd been caught by the beam in our Juno, then we'd have been vaporized in a second. Why didn't it destroy the ship when it had every chance to? Why did it go dead at the exact moment it did, when we'd fly it right into our hangar? Why is the ship still online when that thing could knock it offline with a single signal? Why did all of this happen, and why does everything keep coming back to Cassie? The captain sways slightly with her eyes shut as a pensive yet exasperative look sweeps over her face. You realize just how passionate you'd got into your attempts to convince her. Sorry, Captain, I think you're right, Lieutenant. You do? As you've laid it all out, the sequence of events, what's happened to Miss Quinn, and what we've seen on those logs, all of it seems to indicate that something is going on, and that something is centered around our Lieutenant Commander. If that's the case, and they've been thwarted before, we don't know what else they'll try. It's imperative that we get the gun dog out from under Lieutenant Lord's control. We'll need the entire crew to handle this. Yes, ma'am. Well done, Lieutenant. Captain? You've exceeded my expectations. I'm glad that acting on pure instinct, you sprint away from the captain and towards the entrance into the aft thoroughfare. Get back here, Lieutenant! Despite the captain's order, you continue forwards, towards the sound of gunfire that tears through the air. As a security officer, you knew this was your duty, but beyond that, you had a terrible feeling. What if you'd realized everything too late? You dash out of the engineering, down the length of the corridor, the sound of gunfire reverberating through the long hallway. A piercing staccato is beaten out of the distance, and you drop to the floor as bullets punch through the space around you. You scramble back to your feet, bolting towards the central hub. A flurry of shots answers the volley you'd narrowly evaded. Another burst of gunfire cracks through the air just after you dive out of the thoroughfare, and a clatter of bullets striking the wall behind you. More shots fly past you as you scramble along the floor, finally finding safety by pressing yourself against the wall adjacent to the Foreside Thoroughfare's entrance. Worfs, what the hell are you doing here? The two ensigns crouch on the inside of the entryway. Hansen looks at you in confusion as Haru leans around the corridor, firing off another burst. Does it matter? What's going on? What does it look like? Damn it. Haru quickly ducks behind the corner just as another salvo pierces the space they stood in. Hansen responds in kind before returning to cover. Who is it? Friend of Quinn's, looks like. What? You lean around the corner, trying to catch a glimpse of the attacker as Haru takes the opportunity to fire back. Who? Oh shit, it is the pilot from the spacecraft. Wait. Almost out of sight, slouching against the wall, leading to the crew quarters corridor, is an unconscious Cassie. Cassie! Okay. Okay, that's it. Yeah, we gotta jump into action now. Fuck the bridge. We're killing this alien bastard. Both of you, hold your fire. You might hit Cassie. We'll stop shooting when they do, Lieutenant. As the lethal back and forth continues, the central hub fills with the stink of gunfire and hot metal. You'd been right. Someone was after Cassie, but you realized it too late. What can you do now? If you let this carry on, it won't be long until Cassie is caught by a stray bullet. Despite this, there being two of them, the ensigns are back on foot, constantly having to duck and cover as the attacker returns fire. What could you do now? We're gonna shoot the hell out of it. Oh, I got an achievement. Use a machine gun. You draw the gun that you stuffed inside your jacket and flick the safety off. Let's fucking go. Let's save the day. Make sure to aim as high as you can so as to not hit Cassie. You pivot around the corner. You see your opportunity. And you fire. You watch your shots impact the attacker, running up her suit and striking her helmet. But she remains standing, totally unfazed. You begin to squeeze the trigger again when... What? Cassie? Oh, what the hell? Oh my god, no way. Oh no, are you kidding me? Oh, what the hell? But how? What? Oh my god. I think we're breaking up. You pivot around the corner just in time to avoid a slew of several shots. What is that? Quinn? It can't be. Whatever. Shifting his weight, Hansen prepares to fire around the corner, unperturbed by the latest development. No! You dive into Hansen, forcing his gun upwards, a trail of bullet holes marking the ceiling. Don't shoot! Get off me! Cruz, they're moving! As Hansen shoves you off, you watch Cassie throw Cassie over her shoulder and disappear through the hangar. No, I don't care. If there's two of them, the unconscious one is probably the good one. Goddamn double situations. Hey, stop! You spring up and sprint after the two of them, following through the open doors. You barge past the ensigns and leap down a set of stairs. As the gravity begins to lessen, you vault a railing and drop down into the bottom. Stop right there! You yell as you burst into the hangar, gun drawn. Stood in front of the huge mass of machine and foam, staring back at you is Cassie. Well, looks like Cassie. That's not Cassie. Her appearance, despite her appearance, there's no recognition of you in her eyes. Right, it's not her. The visual joy that permeates her entire being is absent. I agree. The thing stood in front of you is a facade, nothing more. Yeah, I figured that out. Who are you? What do you want? You glance to her side and see Cassie, your Cassie, slumped beside the silent emulator. Cassie! Okay. You raise your gun and level it at the duplicate, but your hands are shaking too much as you stare down the sights at the face of your beloved. It doesn't matter, dude. You do what you gotta do. Fucking hell. Be a stronger man. Just give her back and I won't shoot. What the fuck? Okay. A slight movement catches your eyes. You look past your target at the entombed craft behind her. Oh shit. Fragments of foam cut through the air around you as the machine's prison is vaporized in an instant. You're thrown back by the impact of its leg on the catwalk, only saving yourself from slamming into the hangar's rear wall by grabbing onto another nearby railing. What? Wait! Before you can recover, they grab Cassie, slip a mask over her face, and throw her over her shoulder before retreating up the machine's leg. Within seconds, the pair disappears inside a hatch atop the craft that closes as soon as you're through. You spring forward, kicking off the wall behind you, when you feel a sudden rush all around you, drawing you forward. You grab onto the catwalk's railing just in time. The hangar door is opening. You brace yourself against the air, whipping past you, doing your best not to get dragged along with it into space. Oh snap. Werfs, what the hell is going on? Hey, he actually kind of looks like me. You hear Hansen yell over the rush of oxygen and glance back to see him and Haru hanging on to the hangar's entryway. Get back here. This whole place is depressurizing. They've taken Cassie. We've got to get her out of there. You shout back, the torrent of air continuing to rush out of the hangar, snatching the words from your mouth as soon as you say them. What are you talking about? Get over here. You feel the machine's steps reverberate around you as it stomps its way out of the hangar. Its engines ignite, and a searing blast of heat hits your back as it soars away from the gun dog. Give it up, Worf. She's gone. Get back here. Kessie had been taken. Whatever that machine was, whoever its pilot was, she was with them now, hurtling away from the ship. Hansen and Haru remained clinging onto the doorway, gesturing for you to get out of there. Even if you could convince them to help Cassie, would Vanessa let them go in their armored frames? Maybe she was already ordering Dylan to fire on the craft. It's up to me. I must... Of course we're gonna go save her. I don't give a shit. Let's go. I must save her. Alright. I can't just let her go. She needs me. But I'll have to... I need to save Cassie. Let's go. I need to save her. It's up to me. If I don't, no one else will. But to save her, I'd have to... Oh my god, dude. I have to save her. Jesus, dude. I don't care about your PTSD. She needs me. Come on. Yeah. Whatever. This is it. I'm gonna... Yes, save her. Let's go. What do I do? I'm gonna save Cassie. Yeah. You turn around and bring your right leg up over the railing. Worfs, don't! Oh, sweet. The ensign lunges out to grab you, but he's too late. You throw yourself into the void of the hangar. You're snatched away by the vacuum. You just about manage to grab onto the Juno as you fly past it. Your arm nearly wrenched from its socket by the Force. Yeah, that didn't really work in Alien either. Depends how tough it is. Despite the pain, you hang on and pull your way towards the access panel by the cockpit, fighting against the rush of air that continues to buffet against you as you input a series of commands to open the hatch. As soon as it's open, you clamber inside and grab the emergency oxygen mask, sealing it over your face as you activate the armored frame. Hitting the combination of switches and buttons required to start the machine, you feel a dull rumble followed by a swell of vibrations as the systems throughout the cockpit are illuminated one by one. You grip the flight sticks and squeeze, breathing deeply and slowly. You can do this. As you push down on the pedals, the Juno walks forward and you direct it to grab the machine gun from a nearby rack of weapons before turning to face the open hangar door. You peer at the main monitor, trying to locate the enemy craft amongst the stars, but are distracted as a window opens on screen to your left, and a shrill voice yells at you from the monitor's speakers. You, in the Juno! I haven't given anyone permission to launch. What? Lieutenant Worth, what are you doing in there? You're supposed to be locked in your quarters. Get back up here now. Sorry, Lord. I'm going after Cassie. You're what? You're not leaving the ship, you traitor. Get out of there and get to your quarters now. If you don't, I'll... You press the signal button on the screen, cutting off Vanessa's transmission. You couldn't care less about what she said or how she threatened you. You were done worrying. Hell yeah. Let's go. Everything you did now, you did for Cassie. This is Lieutenant Riley Worfs. Kalike 5. Launching. Oh, that's so cool. You slam both flight sticks forward, just as you watched Hansen do during his duel against the machine, sending the Juno tearing through space towards where you'd last seen the kidnapper's craft heading. There you are. Well, we don't want to actually blow it up, we just want to follow it, right? You force the controls as far forward as they will go, demanding every last ounce of thrust available from your engines. The cockpit begins to judder around you, but you don't let up. As the gap between your armored frame and the machine closes, it quickly comes within visual range, and you notice it remaining still, almost like it had been suspended in space. In front, you see a strange shifting distortion, as though the space ahead of it had been torn open. You're not going anywhere. With a twist of the flight sticks, the Juno banks right, and you bring yourself around in a wide arc, building up speed until... Oh, hell yeah! There we go. Give her back! Yeah. Your head's still ringing from the impact. You taste blood in your mouth, but you manage to regain control of your armored frame, raising its machine gun towards the enemy. Now, you're not able to get the shot off before the craft blasts away into space. Gritting your teeth, determined not to let it escape, you thrust the flight sticks forward again, and you're forced back against the seat as Juno hurtles itself after its target. You can hear the engines begin to whine, and the main motor is full of warnings and alerts, but you keep the controls where they are, not wanting to give the enemy a moment of reprieve. Slowly you gain on the strange craft, and as soon as you're within range, you squeeze the trigger on the right stick, holding it down to empty the gun's magazine. Each round slams into the enemy, the sustained series of impacts throwing it into a spin. There's more where that came from. You threaten, beginning the process to reload your gun. With a grin on your face, the targeting reticle lining up to your next volley. Wait. In an instant, the enemy turns its snout-like protrusion, already glowing brightly, with the telltale bolts of energy emanating from the light within its weapon. It's all you can do to draw the controls back and slam your feet down on the pedals, trying to halt the Juno before it's caught in the deadly beat. Oops. Oh my god, we lost an arm! Through luck more than skill, you managed to prevent the blasting energy from cleaving your Juno in half, but now alarms in your cockpit and warnings of clutter monitors as you realize the armored frame's left arm has been sheared off. You struggle with the controls, and as your off-balance machine careens through space. Its fine calibrations now thrown off by the loss of a limb. You manage to reorient yourself, only to see the enemy's cannon pulsing with energy as it prepares another devastating shot. No! Damn it! Oh my god, did we die? Is this a sad ending? Alright, dope. Surprised you lasted this long, Wirf. Alright. Not bad effort for your first flight. Gonna catch hell from Chief for losing that arm, though. Hanson, what are you doing out here? Saving your dumb ass? What does it look like? Why the hell did you chase this thing out here? I told you, it's taking Cassie. You're such a sap, Lieutenant. But you've got guts. Never thought I'd see the day when you stood up for yourself. If you want to rescue Quinn, get moving. I'll keep it here, I promise. Right. Are we going in the ship? Oh, no, we're not. As soon as Hanson disappears from your monitor, the Juno behind the enemy is behind the enemy, grappling it. You waste no time in following him, struggling again against the controls. Your ability to maneuver is limited, but you thrust over the craft, digging your frame's remaining hand into a gap between its armor. The actuators in the Juno's shoulder screech in protest as the enemy struggles against you, but you continue, not willing to stop now. Cassandra. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, she has an oxygen mask on. It'll be okay. Oh, and she's awake. Okay. Cool. Cassie. Alright. Riley, awesome. Very cool, very cool. You pull Cassie into the Juno's cockpit, closing the hatch behind her. As you float together in the enclosed space, arms wrapped around each other, you savor the moment. Cool. If it was possible, you'd never let Cassie go again. But with a sigh, you release her, taking both her hands in yours. Cassie, are you all right? I think so. You can tell from the look in her eyes that she's still a bit dazed. Otherwise, you can't see anything that worries you. Man, she's been out of commission for a lot of the story. Come on, I'm taking us back to the gun dog. You push off the cockpit ceiling and land in the pilot's seat, bringing her down with you. After the two of you are sat down, you strap yourselves back in and take a firm grip on the flight sticks. Hold on tight. We'll be there in no time. You gently push forwards on the controls, easing the Juno's engines back into life. Cassie wraps her arms around you, nuzzling as far into your neck as she can, given you're both still wearing emergency masks. You breathe a sigh of relief. The gun dog grows larger on screen as you slowly fly towards it. The enemy machine has been taken out. Cassie is back with you. Everything is all right again. There might still be things to deal with when you get back to the ship, but at least Cassie is safe beside you. Yeah, I call that a win. You let out another deep breath, unsure whether you want to laugh or cry. Instead, you relax, loosening your grip with the twin sticks and gently resting your head on Cassie's, bringing your right hand up to slowly stroke her hair. Your armored frame continues its slow flight towards the ship. The only noise is the in the cockpit is a dull hum of the engines, vibrations, and both of you breathing softly. Riley, you sit up slightly and look down at Cassie, who's still burying her face into the crook of your neck. You just kind of look at her, I guess. She spoke so softly that you weren't even sure if she actually said anything until she begins to speak again. What's going on, Riley? I remember getting taken to my quarters. Then there was this woman, gunshots. Now I'm here. I think she wanted to take me somewhere. I could feel what she wanted. It was going to be somewhere really far away from you, from everyone. You continue to gently stroke her hair, your fingers working through the strands to run gently down her neck and back. What happened? You're silent for a few moments, but eventually you take your free arm and bring it around her shoulders, drawing her in tighter. I don't know. I don't know how to find out either. But whatever happens, I'll be here with you. I won't let anyone take you away again. I promise. You can feel a gentle pull on the fabric of your shirt as Cassie balls her hands into fists, clenching the material between her fingers and palms. I love you, Riley. Okay, cool. Oh, sweet, a whole montage. This is good writing. I really like this game. This has been a really good game. I love you too. Yeah, what else are you going to say? We're going to be like, no? That's the first time you said that to me. Cassie draws her hands back from behind you and presses her palms against your chest, her face still hidden. You stare down at her, your heart full. As you gaze down on her, she begins to squirm and fidget, once again clasping the material of your shirt in her hands as she balls them into fists. I love you too. With her pressed against you, it's easy to feel Cassie tense up for just a second before her whole body relaxes. It's so obvious that she's relieved that you can almost feel it too. After another brief stretch of silence, she sits up, looking you in the eyes, her moist with tears. Riley? Okay. Oh, what the hell? Oh my god, did the whole ship blow up? Oh, fuck. Another one. Damn it. Before you can react, this new craft, identical to the one you just tore Cassie from, is upon you, the claws at the end of its leg-like limbs, clasping tightly around the Juno's torso. You fight with the controls, causing the armored frame's engines to scream as you push them to their limits, attempting to escape the machine's grip. Hanson, Dalton, anyone, help! Okay. With arms blaring from the cockpit speakers and warnings filling your screens, it's almost impossible to make out what's happening. You're just about keeping you and Cassie out of the rift in front of you, but even that's straining the Juno's engines to the point where they know they can't take much more. Just go, Riley. What? Cassie, I can't leave. Wait, what are you talking about? It's me they want to kill. Whoa, 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 slow the fuck down. The tears of joy that had filled the corners of her eyes now run down her cheeks, having returned to sadness. They're not going to stop until they have me. Take a rescue buoy and eject me. Let me go. No, I'm not doing that. Fuck that. More tears flow down her face as she grabs your chest. You have to. They won't stop. They can't win. Just let me. I said no. I'm saying no. Fuck that shit. I don't give a fuck. If they didn't blow up the ship, then we're good. You take a hold of Cassie by the shoulders, looking deep into her eyes. You know she's right. You can't win. What? This dude's gonna like puss out on? Are you kidding me, dude? No, this is stupid. But you're not giving up now. Yeah, I told you, no one was going to take you away from me. Thank you, man up. If they're taking you, they're taking me too. Wait, what? Well, that's not what I said either. You grab Cassie with one arm and slam the flight stick forward, sending you speeding towards the sheer in space. Okay. With a roar, you all plunge into the rift. You don't know why it wants Cassie. You don't know where it's taking her. But you know one thing. She won't be alone. Oh, is that the whole game? That's awesome. Not the ending I would have expected, but I'm not, like, unhappy if that's it. Oh, is there more? Oh, sweet. Riley? Okay. Come on, wake up, Riley. Okay. That's it. Wake up. What the hell? Oh, don't tell me this was all a dream. You're alive. You're alive. Okay. I thought I'd lost you. Cassie? Oh, darling, thank God. Welcome back to the land of the living, Lieutenant. That's a whole carton of smokes you owe me, Cruz. What's... Yeah, whatever. Didn't think the Lieutenant was gonna be this tough. Guess you were full of surprises, huh, Worf? What? What's going on? Me and Cruz had a bet on whether you were gonna make it after we popped your cockpit hatch and found you slumped over the controls. He figured you used all your luck up. Not me, though, Lieutenant. I knew you wouldn't let something like that take you out. Wait, what? You've been showing you've got serious guts recently. Well, there's a frame missing. That's obviously not what he's asking about. As Cassie and the ensign squabble, you try to marshal your thoughts and memories. Everything feels disconnected and jumbled. Simply thinking feels like trying to find something in a dark room with no gravity. I remember going out to save you. There was this rip in space or something. I went into it and you saved me. That's what happened. You sit up and place your face in your hands, massaging your temples with your thumbs, and you try and get rid of the feeling that your thoughts might fall out at any moment. Hey, I think you mean that I saved you. You're welcome, by the way. I saw you charge headfirst into one of those weird glowing things. I didn't know what was going to be in there, but knew you wouldn't survive if I left you to it. So, like a good crewmate, I went in after you and dragged you and Quinn back out, brought you here. You do the same for me, right? You reach out and grab the nearby railing, pulling yourself up to your feet. As you do, the sensation of your head being flooded with thoughts and memories intensifies. You steady yourself, but keeping your focus feels like trying to carry a glass full of water that's been filled to the brim without spilling any. Wasn't this... Take it slow, honey. Don't rush. You sure you're ready to be up and about, Lieutenant? Yeah, I'm fine. You push away from where you were stood, but trip, falling unceremoniously to the catwalk and slamming your forearms and knees onto the walkway. Riley, are you okay? Alright, only so much of this I can watch. Come on, Quinn. I'll grab Worf. Let's get him to the mess hall. Maybe a coffee will sort him out. Right, thanks. Hansen comes over to you and brings your arm up over his shoulders, hoisting you up without much delicacy. As you head toward the hangar's exit, Cassie follows close behind you, her hand resting tenderly on the small of your back. Once you're near the stairs, you move away from Hansen and begin to make your way up towards the four-side thoroughfare, each step becoming easier as you will yourself to walk unsupported. Cassie, what's happening on the ship? With Lord and... Hey, Riley, let's talking more walking. We'll fill you in later. Don't worry about that right now, honey. Okay. Interesting. Do I need to cut? You look around the four-side thoroughfare and everything is looking shockingly normal. I thought this was it. Okay, so I apologize if you're watching this as it's a cut or not. This might just be a 1 hour special. We'll see. But we'll just keep rolling for now. You look around the four-side thoroughfare and see everything looking shockingly normal. You didn't know what you were expecting to be out of the ordinary, but seeing the thoroughfare as it had always been, it's the same liminal peacefulness soundtracked by a gentle hum of ship's systems that made you feel reassured. Maybe it wouldn't be so hard for things to go back to how they were? It takes you longer than usual, but Cassie follows patiently behind you until you reach the mess hall. Alright, take a seat, you two. I'll grab some coffee. You sit down still woozy as Hansen orders 2 coffees from the venmate. Cassie sits beside you, gently rubbing your back as you try to get your head to stop spinning. There you go. Take it easy and drink up. I'm sure Captain Bartimew's got a lot of questions for you. Captain Bartimew's? But what about... Ah, there you are, Lieutenant Commander. Quinn, Lieutenant Worfs. Ma'am. Ma'am? At ease, you two. But, Captain, what are you doing here? What about the ensigns? They don't care. What about Lord? Lord? Yes, Lieutenant Lord's little dalliance with command. Thanks to Chief Cathy's, that's been dealt with. The Chief? Something I can help you with, Lieutenant? Captain Bartimew said that you dealt with the Lieutenant Lord? I resent being made to sound like an issue on the daily maintenance log. Thank you very much. Lord? Wait, did we go in the past? Wait, what's going on? You spring to your feet, your head snapping back when the 2 ensigns try to see who'd make a first move. What are you... Honestly, Lieutenant, don't make this so awkward. I'm here to... Come now, Lieutenant. Let's hear you say it. Apologize. Okay, no, so not time travel, thank God. Okay. It seems, like, based on what happened in the Forsyth Thoroughfare, your actions out in space, what I was told about the crew, I made a mistake. So I thought I'd apologize. Okay, fair. Sorry, Captain, Lieutenant Quinn, everyone. Oh, that's okay. I didn't even realize anything was going on. I've been so zoinked on painkillers, I've slept through almost everything. What has been going on? Well done, Lieutenant Lord. That was very big of you. So then, I'm sure we can all agree to put this matter behind us. Put this behind us? The sensation of being lost in a total shoal of your own thoughts returns, and you barely grasp the situation. Was that it? After everything that happened, Vanessa apologizes? The captain agrees to move on? Really? Even the old game doesn't like the ending. Are you alright, Lieutenant Wirfs? You're not looking very well. Captain, just... what is going on? Huh? This is all so... I think you should calm down, Lieutenant. Whatever happened to you out in space seems to still be having something of an effect. You could probably do with eating something. Now, there's an idea. Why don't we all sit down for a meal together as a crew? Chief Gathys, gather everyone up, would you? I'm on it, ma'am. Alright then, who's first? A loud noise like the combination of a growl and a gurgle fills the room, causing everyone to look towards Cassie. Oh my god. Well, it has been a while since I ate anything. Any chance of a burger? Of course, Commander. Followed up by your favorite, a pineapple salad. Unless I'm mistaken. Oh wow, I didn't know you knew. That's perfect, Captain, thanks. You never thought you'd see the Captain happily begin ordering meals for the crew from the Venmate, but she does just that, listening to Cassie's instructions on her burger preferences. You slowly slide back into your chair, cautiously eyeing the two ensigns and Vanessa. There's no way she wasn't planning something. This had to be... Hey, Lieutenant, good to see you. Oh, Dylan, hey. Pretty crazy watching you toe-to-toe with that thing out there. Fought almost as well as Hansen. No way. I mean, not bad for an amateur, but the Lieutenant's got nothing on me. Lieutenant Wirfs, Commander Quinn, you're safe. I was so worried about you guys. That thing looked tough. Haha, thanks, Cadet. But you had nothing to worry about. My hero Riley was there to save me. Okay, great. There we were, our commander. Thanks, Captain. With the noise of the entire crew's chatter filling the mess hall, you find it hard to think. Your thoughts remain difficult to line up, instead flowing like mercury. Okay. As you watch Cassie raise her burger into her mouth, a memory does bubble to the surface. Wait, Cassie, you can't... Huh? What do you mean? Your stomach, remember the doctor said... There's nothing to worry about, Lieutenant Wirf. I made a mistake in my diagnosis. The system's food was not the issue. Oh my god, it's a simulation. Oh, fuck. Oh god, it's... Dr. Rosarium, thank you for joining us. No! No. Once you once again bolt out of your seat in shock. Is there a problem, Lieutenant? No, he's dead. He's fucking dead. Hold up. What's going on? You were dead. Right. I think we all can agree that he was dead. I saw you. I agree. I saw he was dead. You can't be here. I understand. No one else on this ship is a qualified physician, Lieutenant. Therefore, no one was qualified to assess if I was really deceased. Are you kidding me? Fortunately, the injury was not as severe as had been assumed. But Hey, come on, Lieutenant. You're killing the mood. Doc's fine. Wouldn't be up and walking if he wasn't, right? Yeah, take it easy, Wirfs. Oh, this is so weird. Are you feeling okay, honey? Okay. I feel like I'm going nuts. I don't trust anything here now. Do you want to go to sickbay to lie down? Yeah, honey. Do you want to have a little nap? That's funny. Be quiet, Ensign Cruz. Okay. Your mind is a maelstrom at this point. Everything feels wrong. I agree. It feels kind of funky. But it's all happening. It's all right in front of you. How can you argue with that? Come on, honey. Let's have some fries. You shake your head at the offer, placing your head back in your hands. Cassie starts rubbing your back again, although quickly begins eating her fries with her spare hand. Fair enough. The crew eventually start to chatter amongst themselves again, whilst Captain Mary's takes orders, and retrieves meals from the vendmate, serving them with a level of cheerfulness that continues to leave you disquieted. There, I believe that's everyone. Oh, before I get started with my meal, Commander, I was hoping you could help me out with one thing. Oh, sure, Captain, what's up? The ship's emergency input codes, are they still generated and adjusted regularly, or is it specifically prior to departure? Why would she ask that? Come on, Captain, you know that. You're the one that sets them, after all. Well, it's initially prior to departure, then every 5 days per enemy encounter. Whichever comes first. Of course. Thank you, Commander. Why is the music getting weird? No problem. Since the captain asked Quinn... Oh, yes, Vanessa? What distance do we typically start transmitting our security clearance prior to announcing we tend to dock at a colony? What are these questions? Oh, that's specific, I mean... And once we've been cleared for approach, is our docking confirmation signature specific to the ship, or does it depend on a combination of factors? Hey, you're just a cadet. I don't think you need to know that. What's the makeup of the Europa garrison for? Oh, hell no. Are we captured in the alien base? Guys, I really think I need to finish my burger if you don't mind. What's the target time for colony defense forces mobilization? Well, oh my god. We've totally been kidnapped. It's like we're in the Matrix. I knew something was wrong. You look up and see the whole crew staring at Cassandra, a look of malevolent intent in their eyes. Does the JUCF implement a series of local data stores, or is it transmitted across a large-scale network? Guys, what frequencies are emergency requests transmitted on? What are you asking this for? Guys, how extensive are the JCF's nuclear capabilities? You leave her alone. Guys. Oh, shit. Cassandra. Oh, God, she got knocked out again. What the fuck? Voice 1. Another failure. Which incompetent calibrated this engram harvester. It's not subtle enough. We've been having difficulty with ensuring the harvesting process is suitably... I don't care what you're having difficulty with. Rewrite the program to be more congruent with the query context, then run it again. Understood. We've had enough time to develop this. These failure rates are inexcusable. We've got these gather clones neutral pathways mapped out. This should be simple. It's bad enough that Unit 00's jump drive malfunctioned. Are you telling me that we can't even get information to gather reliably? Well, she'll keep for the time being. At least we'll have time to finesse the systems before we start receiving more. What about the other one? The other what? The other sample. The one the hunter captured alongside this gather. Oh, him? I'd hope that having him in the simulations with the gather might help, since they seem to have some sort of relationship. Unfortunately, since his DNA isn't compatible with other AI, we can't run a specific engram harvester. Shouldn't we be able to run a linear review in real time? If you want to waste your time, be my guest. Hopefully going through recent events again from this perspective could uncover some more information. You're certainly welcome to try. If you do find anything pertinent, notify me immediately. Understood. Oh, one more thing. Do we have the output of the engram harvest we carried out on the additional subject? Confirmed. It's been archived. Under which digital lobe? It's in the default mode network. Node? What? Well, this is recorded, so I can keep track of that number if I need to. What does it say? To reclaim what is the right of the people in their hair, the Hefhor we see a what? Tactical data, subject, biological, okay. I don't understand. Is this a game? Am I supposed to do something? Oh, I'm scrolling. I don't understand. Is this... What is this? I don't get it. Compatibility. Life support. Okay. Oh, okay. Excellent. Send me that reference. It might be useful for review later. Now run this one again. Once you've started her engram harvest, you can do the same with the others. Understood. Oh, snap! Wait, what? Okay. Knowledge is power. See what happens to Cassandra. May 6th, Planetary Calendar 214. Okay. Europa Colony 01, Jovian Colony Fleet, 2nd Military Court. Okay. Now that we're all here, we can begin. As we decided yesterday, this is to be the final day of the inquiry into the events that happened on board the JFS Gundog between April 24th and April 28th. Our findings today will dictate the JCF's future actions around the matter, as well as what's been done with the ship's crew. Guards, please bring in Miss Mary Bartimeus to the stand. Welcome back, Miss Bartimeus. It's my pleasure, Admiral. Now, Miss Bartimeus, we've gone over everything that happened on board the Gundog following its departure from this colony on April 19th until the 24th. The last task of this inquiry is to find out what happened to the following Miss Lord's adjustment to the command structure up until your return to Europa 1. I trust that we have your full cooperation in this matter. Hasn't that already been demonstrated? Commodore Rivers, a yes or a no, Miss Bartimeus? Yes, Commodore. Thank you. Now, we're aware of the effort made by you and Lieutenant Wirfs to counter Miss Lord's mutiny. You said that the two of you had found enough information to prove that none of the accused had anything to do with any treasonous actions. What happened after that? Just as we finished our discussion, we heard gunshots coming from the ship's central hub. Lieutenant Wirfs immediately went to investigate. After a brief exchange of fire between the ensigns and the infiltrator, the lieutenant chased them to the hangar. Why wasn't this infiltrator apprehended by security? It's like I told you already. Quinn's weird twin was packing some serious firepower. Remney and I were pinned down, and we could barely get a shot in. And I know that some shots in, my aim's good. I got some shots in, my aim's good. But whatever body armor she was wearing, it's like she didn't even notice. I see. So after this, the lieutenant and the unidentified attacker, who you've stated was carrying an unconscious Lieutenant Commander Quinn, they made their way to the hangar whereupon they both launched in separate crafts? Yeah, that's right. Why were they allowed to launch? It wasn't my fault. I did everything I could to stop them from launching, but none of my controls were responding. They must have hacked into the system to override my authority or something. It's the only explanation. I bet they did it ahead of time. There was no way I could have known. Okay. Even if you had lost control of the systems, we were under the impression that the hostile craft had been secured. Was this or was this not the case? I mean, well, the thing is that, Cadet Grange, can you answer the question? Why hadn't the craft been secured? That craft had been secured until it managed to break out, and I'd bet my life that nothing could get through Cadet Grange's compound. That stuff was almost impenetrable. I'd be surprised if the team working on the Gundog right now has got anywhere near to removing the cargo crates that were stuck in it. If all that stuff didn't stop, then there was nothing else on the ship that could have. Okay, cool. So the enemy craft was able to escape the restraining compound and leave the ship after the hangar controls were overridden. Considering the Lieutenant Wirfs was, at the time, supposed to be confined on suspicions of treason, how were they allowed to board a Juno? Hey, we didn't know the lieutenant had gone anywhere until he came running down the hall in the middle of a firefight. He made a jump for it before we could stop him. Crews tried to grab him, but the lieutenant was gone before he got anywhere near. Surprised the lieutenant didn't just get sucked out into space, pulling a crazy stunt like that. And what happened after the lieutenant made his way into space? I mean, I was able to track him and that weird thing after they launched, but they were moving so fast and so close together, I couldn't get a lock on either of them. Lord was ordering me to take them both out, but before I could line anything up, Cruz was out there in Gundog 01. Do you know who gave Cruz permission to launch? Hey, no one gave me permission to launch. But you think I'm just going to hang around and watch an amateur like Lieutenant Wirfs get torn to pieces because he can't pilot worth a damn? No way. Wirfs showed me some guts, and I wasn't going to let him die after he finally grew a spine. I went out there to give the lieutenant a little bit of help. So the two of you were able to defeat the enemy craft altogether? Of course, Cruz was able to take it out. What do you think we dragged back into our hangar for you guys? Fair enough. Might be in a few pieces, but those tech nerds love a challenge, right? But Lieutenant didn't return with you. Why not? Because he disappeared, that's why not. He sold out his friend and used them to cover his escape. Lieutenant and Quinn are probably off plotting against us right now. We're not here for speculation, Miss Lord. We're here for the facts. You're confident they disappeared? They didn't disappear. Our records show that shortly after retrieving Lieutenant Commander Quinn, that they were preparing to return to the Gundog with when another enemy craft appeared. Gundog 1 was still busy with the original craft, and with the damaged Juno and Lieutenant was in no position to fight back. They were dragged off. Dragged off? That's what it looked like, but I think it may have actually been a boson jump. A what? A boson jump, Commodore. If you think about it, how our HFDD works, by warping the space around the ship, it could allow it to move significant distances. Then a boson jump creates something similar but connects two unique points in space, letting a craft move directly from one point to another. All theoretical, of course. The energy requirement alone would... All right. Thank you, Chief Engineer Cathy's. But if you were able to detect indications of a space warp, even if it wasn't non-standard, why did the Gundog not head out in pursuit? Well, you see, that's when the power went out again. It was like what happened on the 23rd with the Gundog and the O'Brien. If we'd been any closer to the electromagnetic pulse, we would have overloaded our key systems and we would have all been fried. So the ship was immobilized. What did you do then? I guess I was lucky holding on to onto that trash machine must have shielded me or something. Once the lieutenant disappeared into that freaky light show, I dragged the wreckage back to the Gundog. We got the power back online and then slunk back here, tail between our legs. Who ordered the return to Europa 1, Miss Lord? No, that was Captain Bartimeur's doing. What happened to Miss Lord's assumed command? After Bartimeur's helped the chief get the engines back online, she found me and Cruz in the hangar. She'd rounded everyone else up and told us we could either fall back under her command or she'd get the chief to throw us out the airlock and then there. So we followed her up to the bridge and watched her slap Lord from one side of the room to the other, and yeah, it was kind of it for Captain Lord. Sure. What happened to her after that? It was an abuse of power, plain and simple. I wasn't given the opportunity to state my case. There was no hearing. I was immediately confined to my quarters. As soon as this inquiry is over, I want to open a grievance against Mayor's Bartimeus. Thank you, Miss Lord. For the moment, we just want to know if you're aware of what happened after you were confined. I'm sure you must have all the information you need on that from the ship's logs, Commodore. For the benefit of the inquiry, Miss Bartimeus, from that point on, the Gundog's journey back to Europa 1 was uneventful and everything occurred as expected. We returned to the colony, immediately notified command of the craft in our hangar. I submitted my report on the events that had taken place since our departure. And here we are. Thank you, Miss Bartimeus. The inquiry will be adjourned whilst we go over our findings. You will be notified as soon as we have come to an agreement on our verdict. Guards, please escort Miss Bartimeus back to the holding cells. Okay. The Commodores and Admirals are all hanging out. With the exception of some spurious accusations from Miss Lord, it seems that the crew are all giving relatively consistent testimonies. What do you think, Admiral? Losing someone like Cassandra Quinn is a catastrophe. She was the only lieutenant commander, but she's worked on a multitude of ships, bases, and installations. In terms of her institutional and process knowledge, if she was interrogated, there's no saying just how much the enemy would be able to learn from her. They might already have done that. We've been getting reports of attacks on various frontier posts with similar patterns to what happened to the Gundog. Loss of power, sudden illness among the command structure, attackers appearing out of nowhere. The list of officers we've lost is already too long. Female officers. Weird. Captain? Just something I noticed, Admiral. And all the officers missing are women. Weird. Whatever's going on, we can't let it continue. Okay. The inquiry into the events aboard the JFS Gundog will now reconvene. Guards, please bring in Miss Bartimeus. Welcome back, Miss Bartimeus. It's once again a pleasure, Admiral. We'll be brief. After reviewing the testimonies of you and your crew that served under you, as well as the ship's logs and recordings, we have come to our conclusion regarding your futures within the JCF. Merges Bartimeus, okay. Due to your experience with the issues that face the Gundog and her crew, as well as the demonstration of your commitment to maintaining order aboard your ship, we are returning you to the role of captain aboard the JFS Gundog, which is to become part of the new Rapid Response Task Force. This task force is intended to handle a recent increase in similar events to those that impacted the JFS Gundog and the JFS O'Brien. The stipulation of this position is that you will be partaking in mandatory psychotherapy with the ship's medical staff for the duration of your role. Understood, Admiral. Thank you. With regards to Hanson Cruz, for participating in a mutiny, you should be dishonorably discharged and facing minimum of 10 years in prison. Oh, fuck. However, due to your performance in combat and experience with these new enemy machines, you will be serving as pilot in a new task force. This role is non-negotiable. In addition, you will be kept under supervision and your time as part of the task force is in lieu of time served. This will also be the case for Haru Rumney. Hey, won't see me complaining. As for Chief Engineer Mackenzie Cathy's, you are to be transferred to the JFS Silvertrees, where you will act as Chief Engineer. Oh, cool. The Silvestries will serve as the flagship of the new task force. Because of this, we are removing Cadet Dalton Grange from your instruction. But instead, Cadet Grange, you will be transferred to JCF R&D development, where you will receive appropriate support to develop your new compound into a viable weapon. Thank you, ma'am. That's good. That's great. That's moving on to Warrant Officer Dylan Dees. Okay. We have reviewed your request and have decided that it is in the JCF's best interest to give you an honorable discharge from the fleet. Good call, ma'am. Yeah, he didn't want to be there at all. Your stipend and freedom are, of course, dependent on ensuring that you do not disclose any information about what happened. Consider the matter highly classified. Don't worry about that, ma'am. Not planning on thinking about this anytime soon. As for Miss Lord, typically, a mutiny against your commanding officer would result in your execution. but I didn't. All the evidence is quiet, please, Miss Lord. However, we understand that due to the rapid development and confusing nature of events, it did appear that the crew of the ship could have been involved in a conspiracy. Had that been confirmed as the case, you would have followed the appropriate protocol by removing Captain Bartimeus from command. Given this, the inquiry has decided to be lenient. You will instead be placed under house arrest pending further investigation. Understood. Yeah, that's pretty good. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, I almost forgot. Dr. Sifir Rosierum. Due to his death in the line of duty, he will be given a Prosthemius 2 rank promotion. As we've been unable to contact any next of kin, the doctor will receive a public service before his ashes are spread in the Europa Military Memorial Gardens. This judgment is hereby concludes the inquiry into the events that happened on board the JFS Gundog between April 24th and April 28th. All decisions are effective immediately. You are... One question before I leave, ma'am. Bartimeus, go ahead. What is the plan regarding Lieutenant Wirfs and Lieutenant Commander Quinn? Oh, shit, they don't have an answer. Uh-oh. I can assure you, Captain, finding those two is top priority for us. I see. Thank you, Captain. As I was saying... Alright. You are dismissed. Hey, I got an achievement. Mission log received. Finish the game. Alright, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed. That was a lot of fun. I think we'll just keep it as one big episode. Why not? You guys deserved a good conclusion, I think, at this point. That was really fun. And obviously, big props to everyone who helped work on the game and make the game. It is a bit of a cliffhanger. We don't know what happened in the end. But either way, I still think that was really good. I hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, we have more games on the way that are going to be planned. But for now, I hope you have a good day. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I'm Elwirfy, and I'll definitely see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.